everyone. Welcome to the Ladies of Sosa podcast. My name is Sarah.
And my name is Christine.
And today we have a special one for you guys. We are actually collabing with another South Sudanese podcast. They're called Kush Combos. Or is it The Kush Combo? Or is it Kush Combo? Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's Kush Combos podcast.
Kush Combos podcast
in the house.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
All the way from Nebraska. What part of Nebraska are you guys from?
Yeah, it starts with his first name, man. Go ahead.
Oh,
From Omaha.
Okay. Nice.
Let's go.
Put some flavor on it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so go ahead and introduce you guys personally, then we'll get into your podcast.
Go ahead.
My name is Ochanda.
Oh, Shonda.
And I'm representing Kush Combos Podcast.
Period.
The podcast of the African diaspora.
Yes, sir.
And I'm with my co-host, with the most, Big Dog. Introduce yourself, man.
My name is Maxwell Marrakesh. Shout out to the ladies.
Marrakesh.
Yeah. I see y'all glowing from that vacation.
We just came back.
Oh my gosh. That
Back-
vacation.
Maxwell Marrakesh, what's going on, Big Dog?
Yeah.
We in Dallas.
We in Sudanese Hollywood.
Okay, period. Thank you. Put some respect.
Listen, finally.
Come on now.
I love it.
I love the energy.
But
The energy is crazy.
in all seriousness, yeah, my name is Maxwell William. You know, we from Omaha. We have a South Sudanese based podcast. Outside of podcasting, why are you laughing, Sarah? What's going on?
Ochanda gave me this look that just took me
Don't
out,
mind his
like,
eyes.
yeah.
Hey, listen,
I told you I
Sarah,
was
Sarah,
ready. I told you
Sarah.
I was ready.
Yeah.
Don't look at his eyes.
Right. Like he was like, I was waiting for this moment.
He trying to take over.
Okay,
The
I'm like,
energy is like, he said, the South Sudanese podcast of the South. No,
Yeah.
you gotta leave some room for us in there, okay?
You know, my man got to pop.
Energy next
Yeah,
time.
he gonna pop.
okay.
He gonna pop his stuff. You know.
I love it. We love it. We love
But
it.
we're all about love and unity today because you know people don't think as South Sudanese we can do stuff together.
Yeah.
We always feel like there can only be one of this, one of that, one South Sudanese store, one South Sudanese podcast, one South Sudanese rapper, one South Sudanese whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So this is very important, and it's a very important symbol of unification, especially from us young people.
Yes.
You know, we deal with the. We'll talk about it more. But
No, go
we're
ahead. That was
we're-
great.
That was really good. Yeah.
I don't want to I know you got
No,
questions
it's really
and stuff
important.
like that.
No, like I feel like what you're doing is like laying the groundwork for what we're doing, and it's important as two like media platforms, which is really important for the growth of our country, for us to collab and be in the diaspora in America. I think that's huge, and like I didn't even realize how big that is. So for you to draw attention to it, like continue.
Yes,
That's really
Yeah.
good.
and like there's not a lot of representation. We talk about all the time, especially in media. Like Christine always says, like they see us, but they don't hear from us. Like what is our perspective? What are our viewpoints? And so it's amazing for you guys to start that platform. And I'm happy that we're collabing and
Yes.
showcasing that, South Sudanese people can work together. It's
Yeah.
not always crab in the barrel, the
Right.
crab in the barrel mentality. Like we can work together, grow, learn from each other. We don't have to agree with each other to
Yeah,
work with each
absolutely.
other, you know? And so what is y'all's like platform about? I know it's a platform for the Black diaspora, but like, what is it? Like what created, made you guys like create this platform? What is it truly about?
Okay, I'll start. Well,
Yeah.
for me personally, I know you guys have all been to Omaha, right? I know you guys
Yeah.
have. If you've never been there, you've heard about it, correct? So, growing up there and just traveling, and when you say you're from a certain place and then you get the looks like, oh, well, we don't know if we can invite you to our, like, you know, social gathering in our city, right? Or whatever it may be.
Can you explain to the audience what is the stereotype like?
and the context of
Okay.
what Omaha is for the South Sudanese community in America.
what it was.
Yeah,
what
okay,
it
what it was.
Yeah.
So I know I always, you know what's crazy? I don't get flack for this, but it always sounds like I'm talking down. But I have to keep it real about what people I'm trying to be serious right now.
Let's
you know?
hear. I want to hear it. Let's go.
So as you guys have all known, we've had a reputation of, you know, violence breaking out at parties and just all types of, you know, how do I describe this in the best political possible way I could do this? We just haven't had the best reputation of being a safe place where people can come and unify together. Let's just say that, right? But that was in the past, and sometimes, unfortunately, bad apples, sometimes they get either sent away or they go to somewhere else. So we're trying to change that narrative. So during the time of the pandemic, right, we had a lot of time on our hands. So all of us know. I was trying to convince him. Actually, he was living in Fargo at the time, so I was trying to convince him to move to Omaha. And do you know how hard of a preposition that was for me to do?
Right.
Right. So I was like, okay. I explained. I'm like, I know Omaha has a reputation, but there's so many great people doing so many amazing things, and we can sit here and complain and cry about what image we have, right? But we can also, at that time it was 2020. We all have access. Everyone's doing Zoom interviews. Everybody knows how to use technology to a certain level, right? We're like, well, why don't we just create a platform and have our own voice versus always allowing the media to portray us however? Because in Omaha, we're one of the only cities in America, as most, I don't know if you guys know or not, the viewers, the ladies of Sosa, but Omaha has the largest population of South Sudanese in the entire country, right? So with that, there's good things and there's bad things. We have a large number, but we don't represent ourselves well. And because of the history of violence, we've had a whole task force from the Omaha Police Department has been created just for us, just for South Sudanese, imagine. And then when they pull you over or catch you doing whatever you're doing, they ask you like, hey, are you from this tribe or are you from this tribe?
Really?
Yeah, they know everything.
Wow.
They know what gangs we have. They know everything about us.
There's more than one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Is it like South Sudanese police?
Yeah, it's like.
Well, now they have. I don't know how their structure works.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I was
not
just curious. I was
part of the
like,
system, right?
Maybe they have a dedicated
But I know we have
okay.
South Sudanese in the police because, like, when you go to Walmart in North Omaha, like we have South Sudanese cops at Walmart, and we have task departments, right? So
I didn't know that.
So there's South Sudanese cops, not like a dedicated.
There is a unit,
within.
but then they also have to have cops because how do you translate and how do you know which tribe is this and how do you identify?
That's how deep it goes. I didn't know. I thought it was just like a stereotype of like Nebraska, but I didn't know that it was actually enforcing like even their police union where there's like
it's
dedicated
policy.
resources for this problem.
Right. It's a very serious thing, and even me. I was telling Yatan, she doesn't want to be on camera today, but shout out to her.
Shout out to Yatan from
shout out to her. I was telling her a lot of the work I do in the city. So I work with the city of Omaha quite a bit and the state of Nebraska at large. I was the first South Sudanese to be appointed.
Can you say that again with your chest?
I was the first.
Come on, man. Hey, that's a big step, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was the first South Sudanese to be appointed to the Omaha City Charter Convention. Which is a committee that meets every 10 years to write the new constitution of the city, right? So with every constitution, there's amendments and stuff that needs to be changed and made, especially with the pandemic. There are rules like for city council members, if let's say 5 out of 7 weren't in there in person, like that is a nullified meeting. So there's a lot of things that need to be changed. So through the work that I've done in the city, they always ask me, they're like, Max, like, what's going on with your community? They always ask me, like, what is wrong with the South Sudanese community in Omaha? And I tell them a few things. I'm like, well, crime is always usually an economical thing, right? If people don't have opportunities, they're going to do whatever they need to do to survive, right? So that's one thing. But anybody can get their business together and get their money together. But what I told them was lack of representation for the most part. So if we don't see anybody that looks like us in whatever form of power, whether it's the police department, whether it's policy making, whether it's doctors, whether it's whatever, you're going to feel neglected from that community. And neglection usually leads to rebellion. So rebellion takes many forms, whether it's gangs, crime. It's nothing usually good. So through that, I was able to kind of educate the city more on what our issue is. And it was around all of this that we came up with the idea to just have the media is very important in any country, right? The media controls the narrative. So we're kind of like in a position where the dinosaur is I'm not going to name the names of these channels, right? But the dinosaur media, it's pretty much kind of over. People tune into what they want to tune into, so we're like, this is the perfect opportunity for us to stop making excuses and actually control our own narrative in a nutshell. So I know that was a long and drawn out explanation, but
no, it was very thorough, and it helped us understand kind of like where you guys sparked the idea, especially coming from Omaha. Because I honestly, at first, I didn't know that you guys were from Omaha, but that's great because
where did you think we were from?
Honestly, I thought y'all were East Coast boys.
Yeah,
I really did.
They kind of give like
Jersey.
New York.
Yeah, it was giving like Connecticut.
Connecticut.
ESPN? Bristol?
Maybe like
New Haven?
Massachusetts. Yeah. So
I'm a Rhode Island kind of guy.
Yeah, like even like
That's
I
a
could see
Quagmire
that
for sure.
I could see that for y'all.
No giggity.
But coming from Nebraska, because you know there is like a stereotype.
So can you share?
Nebraska.
So we're there. So it's like we don't know what.
You're not about to get me.
No, I'm just saying. We're being honest. We're being honest. So what did you think? Because I know you guys have been there. I know you guys came for South Sudan Unite, right?
Oh yeah, y'all did y'all's research.
No, I was there.
Oh, okay.
I was there.
Nice.
I was in attendance, and you guys were on stage. And I was like, "Ladies of Sosa." I was like, "What?" You know. So I knew what I knew at the time. We'll talk about that.
That was
later.
our first time. That was our first time in Nebraska.
So
That's
what do
when
you
we
guys
first
think?
started,
Yeah. What do you guys think before going?
I do want to touch on something that you
Yeah.
said because we just got research from Yatan off camera. So there is an article out speaking on the Omaha police and how they've added South Sudanese refugee gang specialists to help bridge the gap between the communities. And I'm not sure how to share his name, but I am going to include this in the podcast later in post editing.
Yeah.
His name is Galat Toang, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Are you familiar with him
Yeah,
by any chance?
yeah, we know who he is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I do want to like shout him out and like give him his credit and include that in the podcast.
Yeah, no, honestly, and I know people always talk about like, oh, like police, you know, F12 or whatever, but
Right.
let's be real, but representation matters. Like I rather, if I were doing an illegal activity, like and someone that looks like me, like happens to pull me over, arrest me,
Right.
I would feel a little more comfortable because I'm not gonna get killed or like.
And
I
they know your
like,
family,
Yeah,
they
they
know
know
my
your
family, you know?
parents, and you understand the culture, so you're able to communicate better to that person. And it's like there's like an unspoken connection there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
It's
I
a
think
humanity.
that's probably what they were trying to like showcase. Is like, you know, get people that understand that community to do like what they have to do as far as like, you know, enforcing the law with them. And I think that's important. But it's interesting that they asked about your tribe, like what tribe you're
Yeah,
from.
that's what trips me
interesting.
out.
That's
Yeah, that's what trips
interesting.
me
I
out.
feel like that shows
Yeah.
that they've done their homework to,
Yeah.
to really understand like
Yeah.
who are these people, like what is their culture,
Yeah.
because I feel like maybe that has something to do with how like the gangs form or how they click up. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
interesting. I don't know.
You know, South Sudanese, we do everything based on you
Tribe.
know.
On tribe.
Yeah.
But that also
Absolutely.
can be kind of
We
problematic.
just did the last episode was
it could be
on
seen as
tribalism.
problematic too. It's like, why are you asking me my tribe? I was like, I'm just South
Well,
Sudanese.
not in diaspora, right? Because they don't care.
Right,
They don't
like-
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Like, they don't-
Triggering.
They don't ask Jamaicans, are you from Portmore? Are you from Gaza?
That's
Or like,
true.
they don't ask you none of that. But
But
'Cause
for
it can-
our culture, that does.
But
like,
it could signify that like one tribe is like more violent than the other, which can like maybe that's why they're asking. So that's what I'm saying. But I don't really know.
maybe they're
the
trying
full-
to see what you probably belong to, like what gang you probably belong
it's
to.
it's really a data thing.
Right. Okay.
They want to know how many
okay.
gang members
Right.
are from a certain
Like
demographic.
demographic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and now we're talking like them, you know. But
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But-
That's interesting.
Yeah.
To get back to like our perspective, I have family that like moved to Omaha, so I really didn't know much about it, but we do hear about how like there's a lot of gangs, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of crime. So there is a negative stereotype in a way of just about like the crime, just because there's such a high population there. And when we actually went to South Sudan Unite, I don't know if you remember, but there was some concerns about the
Was
but-
it our safety?
I might cut this out. No, not
Yeah, it's okay.
our safety, but they were saying like the Nuer community were not happy with the fact that Lual was doing his
Oh,
South Sudan Unite
yeah.
event in Nebraska, and they were worried about potentially there being some like fallout or something to like affect the event. So he had like security. I don't know if you remember, but his
Yeah.
security was on deck.
Yeah, I remember that.
definitely remember.
No, because I remember when we went there, because you know South Sudan Unite is about bridging the gap between
Absolutely.
tribes.
yeah.
So Omaha being the biggest like population of the Nuer tribe, it was kind of like they have to be included, but there was
You
like
gotta
this,
check in. Like,
Yeah. Well, no, but they should have been included. They have to be part of South Sudan Unite. If we're going to talk
Absolutely.
about tribalism and all like everything that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
you have to include the Nuer tribe, especially if you're going to do it in Omaha.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it was like, I don't think, from what we heard, is like the narrative was like they were not interested in being a part of the South Sudan Unite based off of like, I think his dad's affiliation with the government or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you know, we
but
can't
that's
corroborate
important to
it.
keep in the context. Though.
Yeah, that's the context. That was like the
it's
narrative.
based on the familial ties, I guess. Not
Yes.
necessarily what he's done directly, but just how they feel about
his family and their relationship to the government.
And it was like it was tense. I remember that.
Yeah, it was very tense.
Yeah,
I like it was very. I don't know. It was uncomfortable. I don't know if uncomfortable is the right word.
I'm interested on your guys' perspective because, like I said, I was there, and everything you guys are saying, I can corroborate everything you're saying.
Thank you.
I cannot speak the whole. I will say this: I cannot speak for any community. You know, I'm not from the New York. I'm a South Sudanese for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But I cannot speak on their feelings and how they felt about it. But I do remember it was a very sensitive time for our country at that time. You know, and I do give Luau props for trying. You know, people can. I get it. You also have to give people time to heal from what they're healing from. So I understand both ways. I understand.
Do you want to give context just for our viewers about like when you say it was a sensitive time? Why was it a sensitive time?
Yeah, it was an eruption of civil war in 2013. You know, and unfortunately, as in most conflicts in Africa, they take ethnic lines. You know, and it really, you know, me and Ochanda, we grew up. We came to America in 1992, right? So we grew up, everybody that we know, we never looked at them like, oh, this guy's from this tribe, this guy's from this tribe. We just know them how we know them. We know their families, we eat at their houses. So there's no, we didn't grow up with any type of tribalism at all. I didn't, you know, I can honestly say that. So when that happened, it was also like a shock for me because I was like, people that I know that were best friends, just stop like talking to each other because of what's going on back home. So I was like, this is crazy that something back home is affecting us this deeply here in Nebraska. And it also got my wheels turning. And I'm also not egotistical enough to think that I can bring a change. I can't force someone to sit down and force this person to sit down and be like, you guys got to figure it out. People change when they want to change and they accept to move on when they're ready to do. So like I said, I salute Luau for doing that, putting that effort in. And I also respect people having the time they need to heal from. Because when you're losing people back home, you know, like it's easy to say, well, just forget about it and do this. And I know we're going to talk about the black tax. We're going to talk about our people back home. But yeah, it was so I'm more interested in how you guys felt. Because I know how I felt and I can speak, you know, more. But
we can talk about it,
we might as well. I mean, that's how I felt. I don't know how you felt.
Did you guys really feel fear, like, of your safety?
No.
It was just intense because there was talks of like, we don't know if they're going to try to disrupt the events or anything like that. And then like, obviously if he has like bodyguards all around him, like,
and I got a funny story about that actually.
I'm both Dinka and Nuer.
Okay, so you're the perfect person to speak about.
So I was like right in the middle. So, you know, so I didn't feel like I was at in harm's way. I was concerned about like if it was like there was going to be a disruption. But I didn't feel like, you know, somebody's going to do anything to me or anything like that. But
women, you guys are usually safe from acts of violence in Omaha, at least, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And we never been to Omaha, so we weren't really, you know, we didn't really know what to expect, especially during that time that was so sensitive. But it was kind of like, it was heartbreaking to actually see tangibly how like much tribalism has played a part even in the diaspora. Because
I think we're the worst, to be honest.
You think so?
Well, do you see these clubhouse rooms?
Oh my god! I don't listen to that
going
stuff.
Crazy in there.
Yeah, I don't listen to that stuff.
I know they be talking about us.
No, people try to say that like tribalism is only in South Sudan, but then you see it that was an example of it like manifesting in the diaspora. Like the Nuer community has a right to feel any way that they want to feel, but it shows that there is tension, the real tension.
Yeah, especially after what happened. Like it was really fresh at that time, I think. So
yeah, and so it was very fresh. Like you're right, and I think Law I think he did genuinely want to bridge the gap between Dinka and Nuer because that's where the two tensions at that time, that's where the fighting was between the two biggest tribes, which is Dinka and Nuer. And so I think he did try to bridge the gap and like do it in Omaha, but it just didn't translate.
Yeah, maybe it
didn't translate well.
Location at that probably wasn't.
I think just timing.
The timing
really was timing.
You know, but he probably didn't think it that. He probably thought like this is the perfect time for me to come in because there's so much problem.
That's true.
But
I feel like the intention is always the most important thing to me. And I the whole theme of the event is literally South Sudan Unite.
Yeah.
And the way they curated the event, they invited people from all tribes. It wasn't just Dinka people or Nuer people.
Yeah.
So I feel like the intention behind it was pure and like he chose to put his resources behind
He
doing
did.
something for our
He
community.
rented out a stadium.
Yeah.
Which he didn't need to.
Yeah, CHI Stadium.
And
you know.
even him, like, he
Mhm.
took care of us. I'm sure he took care of all the other people who were involved, making sure our accommodation, like, just making sure we felt comfortable and we were ready and we knew about everything. Everything was organized and stuff. So I think the intention is the most important thing. And it's like, it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah, he extended his hand, which was amazing. But it's heartbreaking that the Nuer community wasn't there in huge numbers because they make up aren't they the biggest tribe in Omaha?
Absolutely. There's no Omaha without the
Nuer community. So it's like we needed them there. Like
And
they
some
were
of them
supposed to be
attended.
there. There were some of them, but it was
Yeah.
like not in the same like numbers.
Like, oh, my family, like, really didn't want me to be here. Didn't
Yeah.
really want me to come. But,
Yeah.
I'm still going to come support.
yeah, so that was heartbreaking to see. It just really showcased like the tribalism that still exists. It was
I felt bad for the kids
yeah.
because the kids that would have had a chance to like interact with Lual and like just go to school the next week and be like, yeah, my own basketball player from where I'm from, was here and I got a chance to get a picture with him. Like I feel like a lot of kids are robbed of that opportunity.
That
For
opportunity,
sure.
just because of tribalism.
I see what you've done back like home. What are your two professions? I feel like we skipped that part.
So, well, I'm actually transitioning to a new profession right now,
Okay.
but I'm not liable to speak on it at the moment. right
okay.
now.
Were you join the FBI, CIA, or something?
Something like
giving
that.
CIA.
Something like that.
Oh,
In
especially
April.
after what you just told us that you did. I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I would love any
What was your
opportunity.
old profession?
So I worked actually. So when I did the Omaha City Charter Convention, one of the policies that I proposed and got passed through a vote was for affordable housing and rental cap. So I worked in affordable housing. This past year, I just had to resign from that position to take up this new position. So I did a lot of community engagement with all like especially North Omaha. My designated area was North Omaha, which is like a black area. And the South Sudanese, we have a project in South Omaha.
Just for South Sudan, like mostly majority?
Well, yeah, pretty much 80%. I say is
Wow.
like South Sudanese or African American. Everyone's pretty much black there. You know.
Mhm.
So when South Sudanese come, refugees, they get resettled into these projects. And Eric can speak more about this because Eric is from right where we're from,
Oh, nice.
and we get put into the same situation.
Eric
that-
is their camera guy.
Yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
you'll see him later.
We might have to go to Omaha.
Oh,
And
listen.
like like different cities and like actually like zone into like the experience of like
Mhm.
everybody in these different cities because
Right.
y'all's experience is different. It's unique.
It is. Yeah.
And you're providing
Yeah.
so much context. Like I know about Omaha, but I didn't know this much, I guess, about like,
Exactly.
what's taking place there within the
Yeah.
community.
So North Omaha is one of the poorest areas in the entire nation, like per capita. And when you go there, you'll just see black people struggling. Then they bring South Sudanese who are already traumatized. We're coming from an impoverished situation, not by choice, but because of the situation we're in. And now displacement, and now we're brought here, and they're just like, oh, yeah, welcome to the hood, and like you guys got to figure it out. So then when South Sudanese join gangs, at first those gangs were formed to protect ourselves from African American gangs that were in those projects, right? Because when you're in survival mode, everyone's just like it's crabs in a bucket, right? So you're the new black guys that are here. So we're gonna abuse you guys, right?
That's
Pretty
interesting.
much,
Yeah.
So we actually, the African American community and the South Sudanese community had a long beef for a while,
Mm.
But then we started. There's more South Sudanese. Like now we outnumber.
Eric said.
He's right. He know.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for us to be
Wow.
cool like 10 years ago, like it wouldn't really happen like that.
That
you know?
really falls into like what we talked
What
about
we've been talking
the
about.
nuances between the African American
Yeah.
and the
And I love when you guys did that, because
yeah.
At least somebody liked it. No, I'm just kidding.
wait,
get a lot
you
of
guys keep saying there's
pushback.
backlash. Why was there backlash
Well,
about
the
that?
African American community, they loved it because the respect that was given from both sides. But then our community kind of was like, why are y'all talking about this? We need to talk about South Sudanese issues. We have our own problems to worry about. Like, why are we, so it's like, it's different because in diaspora, we have to live side by side.
Yeah.
So it's different than
Thank you.
back home.
Right.
And we pick up a lot on African American culture. So
Right.
sometimes it looks like we're pandering or we're trying to force
They
ourselves.
think they
into
act like it's irrelevant.
it.
But it's like it is relevant because like you said, we do live side by side. Like
Mhm.
when we come to America as refugees, who is the closest people to us? African American.
Right.
So that is the
Yeah.
community that we have to
Yeah.
we speak to, we assimilate to, like we understand, like we try to understand and they try to understand us. So we have to like show respect in a way. We can't like, and that's what they're,
Absolutely.
and that's what the argument is like, y'all come here and then y'all come and shit on us, you know? And it's like, it's true. We do assimilate to people who look more like us.
Yeah.
So why not try to understand that community?
And as far as
then,
Pan-Africanism in the grand scheme of things, I feel like it's really important for us as all Black diaspora groups. America's a melting pot, so there's going to be Jamaicans. We don't have it as much in the South, but like in New York and other places. But, you know, I feel like as Black people, it's very important for us to try to understand each other's history and plight and realize that when people look at us, they're going to look at us the same regardless of like, okay, my ancestors were slaves and my ancestors were colonized.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense for us to be fighting because it just feeds into their agenda. That's our whole goal.
Point. Absolutely.
And we are a Pan-Africanist
I'm
podcast.
glad I was going to ask you that because that was going to be the next question.
And I know y'all about Pan-African.
I want to hear from Ochanda. Ochanda.
This is the quietest. This is the quietest he's ever been.
This is your chance. I know you have so much to say.
That intro,
and we actually have. That's not even an intro because that was a whole segment.
First, man, before we go on, thank you guys. Like,
absolutely.
Me and him, I think it was October, maybe of last year, when we saw how consistent you guys roll an episode out every week.
Oh,
listen. He hit me up. He's like, yo, these girls, ladies of Sosa, you ever heard of them? I was like, wait, that ain't who I think it is.
Years ago, at South Sudan Unite.
That ain't who I think it is. And I looked it up.
I think
they resurrected from the dead.
Right.
So, but y'all came back strong. So I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah.
So, you know, I was like, hey, we love Dallas anyways. So I was like, bro, we're going to try to get, of course.
Y'all been plotting on us.
Yeah. Just make a trip out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been waiting for this. So thank you
South
guys.
Sudan Hollywood. South Sudanese Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I love that. It was very natural. Like the connection was natural. Like we've been watching you guys, y'all been watching us, and then like I love that y'all did the reaction video. I love that reaction video.
That was actually his idea. I gotta give credit where it's due. He's like, we gotta do it. And he was excited.
It's so cute. Two guys, two girls.
Yeah, I know, right?
It just made sense. It made sense.
Absolutely.
No, but the reaction video was like, for the audience, they did a reaction video to I think it was about us like assimilating, like finding our own culture as South Sudanese as like a new country separated from the North.
Yeah, Arabism. I think it was like South Sudan and Arabism or something like that.
Yes, it's like it was like, should we separate ourselves from like Arab culture and create our own culture, or like hone into our own tribal cultures or whatever, however you want to put it. But
we honing on that for sure.
Right, we already do, and maybe that contributes to tribalism. But hey, we'll talk about that later. But I love that you guys did that because it showed like you guys like the support from our community. As another South Sudanese podcast, and it was just beautiful. We really
like one thing we're always about giving flowers when they're due. Absolutely. So I was telling
we have a lot of work to do, but we're just getting started.
Once you build it and they will come. As you can see, you guys' panel is filled every week, right? So it's actually something admirable because this infrastructure you guys got. We're trying to build the same thing where we're from. It's a little more difficult sometimes. We do, but mentality matters, But we'll talk about that like later.
Oh my God, that's such a good point. Because even for us, it's hard for us to get South Sudanese people on the panel sometimes because
really
it is, especially girls. Like now it's easier to get the guys, I feel like, but it's hard because I feel like it's intimidating for one. And I don't know what the other reason is.
And they're probably reading the social media comments.
Yeah,
and
it's hard
because sometimes the comments are harsh. You're gonna get a lot of positivity, but that one comment just might get to you and hit you differently. And women and men can withstand that. I think
I was about to say we laugh at the comments.
Right. Women
would
probably take it a little bit more seriously. So that's why it's harder for us to get women on the podcast because they know you might be a clip and you might be like circulating on social media, I think, right? Like that might be part of it.
Listen,
but we need more women on the podcast. South Sudanese women, African women. Please. We need you guys.
This is an open call, guys. Like you guys are on Instagram Live every day. Like you guys are doing whatever every day.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse every day, right?
Yeah, if you could do Clubhouse, you can be on the Ladies of Sosa podcast. Yeah. Come on. Don't be afraid.
But Ochanda, we didn't get your profession. Pop us off. We got to get back on. We totally forgot. We actually have a topic for you.
And guys, we do have a topic that we need to get on.
All right. As far as my profession, I'm a professional MC.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to do an event
Professional
together.
or the
We gotta
number
do an
one?
event
Well,
together.
professional MC is my occupation.
Okay, yeah.
The best of the
But
best.
I'm the number one MC in the game.
I feel the energy, honestly,
Yeah.
from the way you started off the podcast.
Now he's being conservative right now. He's trying to be conservative.
Well, somebody tell us.
No, your energy is very infectious.
Right.
Like I love that. You're perfect for podcasting.
A
Yeah.
people person.
Because you got to make the guests comfortable. The
Real
people in the show.
recognize real.
You see me, I see you.
Oh,
Okay,
period.
listen.
That's
So,
all.
yeah,
that
yeah,
is it.
Are we gonna do the mirror thing?
No, we're not doing all that.
Let's do it too much.
Okay, so professional MC, so you actually host events and stuff, like back home in Omaha or like where? Because we have an event that we're trying to do.
Oh yeah.
Here, I don't want to spill it, but
Mm.
we're gonna we want to partner
yes.
with
Go
a
ahead.
big South Sudanese like person that's out there in the industry, and we want to do something to give back to our community sometime this year. So if you're open to MCing, we're looking for someone with that type of energy to like
Ooh.
help us fundraise for our
doing
girls
something
back
huge.
home,
We would love
our
to have you
little
guys.
girls, and like
Do you know what
we'll
time
do-
of the year?
It's
We're
probably
thinking
gonna be in the winter.
Yeah, fall,
okay.
fall,
Yeah, fall.
winter, fall.
Fall.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could skip September, maybe, hopefully.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We
We
can work
really, really want to do something this year to give back home to like.
Mm.
That's always been
We
our
can work
mission
on that.
since the show started way back around South Sudan
Yeah.
Unite time.
Yeah.
So
And it's something huge that we think is gonna be like, so impactful for our community.
yeah,
and it's
we're
a
gonna go
long.
back
It's
home.
overdue.
yeah,
It's
we're gonna
overdue.
go back actually to South Sudan. So if y'all want to,
Oh, you about to go back?
well, to do whatever, like after we do the event, we
The
actually want to
fundraising.
go back home and like be there. and-
Holidays.
yeah.
Let's do it during the holidays. Like
Yeah, but we
December.
need you guys for the event that we're hosting here
Yes.
in Dallas.
Okay.
We would love to have you guys.
We'll
It's
talk.
gonna be
Yeah, we'll
black
talk.
tie, fancy.
Mhm.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Oh.
So
But-
yeah, I do formal and informal events. The formal events, weddings, graduation parties, birthday parties, baby showers, divorce ceremonies,
Woo.
funerals.
Not the divorce.
Yeah, annuity annulment,
wow.
receptions. Yeah, and then the informal events, clubs and hookah lounges.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta come out. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Omaha's partying scene last time. It was alright.
So, hold on.
It was
So-
okay.
We was
So-
partying at a church. Can we talk about
It was,
that?
oh my god. South
Why?
Sudan Unite. Why?
Why
I know what church you're talking
You
about.
know the church I'm talking about? Why was the after party or one of the parties at a church? We walked in there.
Where did you come?
No.
So we're on
My body double was there.
No,
though.
no. We walked in there. I was like, Christine, is that a pulpit?
Yeah, you was sinning and you was winning at the same
DJ
time.
On a pulpit. I said, you know what? I was like,
They
what
just
are we
moved,
doing?
The only thing they changed, they just moved the chairs
They
back.
just moved the
Listen.
chair, but the pulpit was still there.
Omaha's
So-
not even a small town
Listen,
for me.
God
to
is
say
still
this is some
working on
small
us
town
in
stuff.
Omaha.
God is working on this.
He's
Listen,
still working on us.
I don't want to. Listen. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Omaha, but that was one thing that I was like rubbing my. Like,
That was
rubbing my head.
insane.
So let's talk about the good time you guys had, okay? So you guys don't know this, and I know it's gonna sound weird, but so do you guys remember going to hookah lounge in Omaha?
You talking about the one that got shut down?
Did you
Can we-
live there?
Man, can we keep it positive?
Oh no,
Omaha, I'm
because the
trying to ride for
police
y'all.
had shut that down.
Yeah,
That
but
was-
yes,
they
yes,
did
yes.
shut down. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
where you guys were at, right? I had a section right next to you guys, and it was
Aw.
heavy police. So I know some of the Lord Dings was cousins or his boys from Chicago because I used to live in Chicago. So we're chopping up whatever. But I seen the heavy security. I seen you guys there, and I was like, I'm probably just gonna, I'm from Omaha, so I don't want to get like,
Whoa.
Wait,
I don't want nothing to happen to me, But,
Wait,
No.
what? I don't.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That day, I'm still mad about that because the vibes, the energy, everything
That
that,
was the
day
best
It was
was on
tense,
point.
yeah.
Everything was getting ready to start though, right?
Mhm.
So we got there, the DJ, the music was lit, everybody.
yeah,
was
everything
getting
was
into their
good from what I
section.
understand. Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is the final. We get to like mix and mingle and talk to everybody who was at the event,
Mhm.
just for it to get shut down right when it was getting started. I was like, dang, like that really sucked.
Why did
Yeah.
it get shut down? Because somebody like
I don't want to put anybody out there. So when the
Because-
ambulance came, Luau Dang security, everybody was like, "Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
kill it." And
Yeah.
then
And it was such a vibe.
It
I
was.
it
remember
was
that.
right before I knew. I was like, "We're about to have a time." You know, you just feel the energy when you go
Mhm.
to a place. It's like, "Oh, it's about to be
And
popping
the ambulance
lit,"
had pulled up.
and then everybody was so pissed
I
out.
don't even smoke hookah, right? So
Same.
I was like, I just did it for the culture. I was like, all right,
Right.
just so everybody can have a good time. Now I want everybody to have a safe time.
We'll talk.
But
Right.
unfortunately,
We'll talk.
If you
know,
were there, you remember South Sudan
Mhm.
Unite. I forgot what year that was, but Omaha.
We'll put it down. We'll put
Yeah, it
pictures
was
down.
right before COVID and everything.
We'll get
killed
context. We'll put pictures and like the date and stuff so we can
Mhm.
remember.
And then it happened in Dallas as well. What was like the next year, the year after? And we
2021.
actually
We
hosted
hosted.
the fashion show for
Yes.
that one.
Listen,
I remember that.
check our resume. We be outside. we be doing it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the actual topic.
Yeah.
Forget the topic at this point. I'm just kidding.
We did this in the last episode where we kind of
I
had a long
know.
intro. Are they gonna be mad at us again?
These are
Audience,
segments.
please.
I call them segments. And then the topic will actually just be a segment.
Yeah, this
'cause
is
at
the
this
mullah.
point-
This is the mullah of the episode.
That was
the
the
meat and
salata.
potatoes. Yes,
The-
the appetizer.
Yeah.
And this is like the actual meat and potatoes.
the-
This is mullah
hey, no.
Beasida, okay?
No,
okay.
Mula came what?
Mullah came
You know,
what,
I'm from
my
Equatoria,
body-
so
body
we gotta
keep
have
Are
that.
working.
y'all both buddy?
Well,
No.
I'm cuckoo.
I actually just
we
found out
speak
he's
body.
my in-law.
Yeah, so yeah,
So you missed that part.
my uncle married his her aunt.
My dad's sister.
Yeah.
That's family right there.
I know. It's
Absolutely.
crazy, right?
Well, today we're going to be talking about the black tax from the South Sudanese perspective.
Yo, so on today's episode, we are discussing black tax. What comes with black tax? But do you know what black tax is? Big?
Well, for the viewers out there, what is the black tax, as we
There's-
like to say?
There's not a standard Urban Dictionary definition, but what it relates to and what it defines is whenever it's usually children or grandchildren, and they have to now financially contribute either small or large to extended family members, friends, your aunt with the wooden leg, your uncle with the
Oh my
glass
God.
eye, and yeah, it's more towards remittances. We'll get into that, but the black tax, basically you graduate college or you, what do they like to say? You hit a lick and you become viral on TikTok, and now you got a big bag coming, right? The big bag, right? And so now,
The hands are out.
oh man, not just hands, mouth, and feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're asking for things. So, Big Dog, first, your feelings on the black tax. Are you a victim of the black tax?
Well, before we get his feelings, I do have a official definition.
Let's
So,
Oh, do you really? Okay.
Yeah, it was just came in.
Thank you.
That's why. No, it just came in.
Okay.
Literally. Okay.
Eric, if you want to text me some information, too, anytime.
You did? Okay.
No hate. No
Listen,
hate.
don't be hating.
Oh, my phone is off. My bad. I turned my phone off. You right.
My phone is on the
My
ground.
phone is off.
bro.
I was
Okay.
scared for my shit to go off.
Let's hear the official definition.
Okay, so black tax is a term that originated in South Africa, which refers to money that black workers, especially professionals and others with higher income, give to their parents, siblings, or other family members, often out of obligation or a deeply ingrained sense of family responsibility. So that's the definition.
Yeah, and I think it's important because a lot of our counterparts, especially living in America, a lot of our counterparts don't necessarily have the black tax.
Mhm.
Like, you know, the girls that I went to college with, one of them.
Where did you go to college at, by the way?
I went to University of North Texas.
Oh,
I
damn,
went
huh?
to UH. Go Cougs.
Okay. So you was driving?
Green.
You was driving to Houston?
No, I lived in Houston
Oh, you
for
lived in
4
Houston?
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Denton is like an hour away from Dallas. So I mean, I lived in Denton too.
Yeah.
But when
Shout
I was
out to
there,
Mean Green.
shout out to the Mean Green, the Claws.
My
you know
little
what I'm
brother
saying?
goes there now.
Yes.
So.
But like with her, her family was well off.
Mhm.
And she was one of my roommates, and her family was well off. Don't be mad at me, sis. I love you. She watches the podcast too. She loves us. But her family was well off, and so she never necessarily had to have like when she graduated, had to like take care of her family
Yeah.
or think about that or had that in the back of her mind. It was like her family set her up to go to college. When she went to college, it's like, you know, we'll take care of you. If you need us, we got your back.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think a lot of South Sudanese families, it's like when they graduate college and they make a little bit of money, it's like, okay, you got to take care of the family. It's like, but what about me investing? What about my savings account? What about like me starting a family?
Absolutely.
So just to put like the context out there, yeah, for South Sudanese.
So why I'm the one that came up with the idea for this because it's near and dear to me.
Yeah.
You know, for those that don't know, on ours, Kush Convos TV,
Mhm.
I represent two actually African nations. My biological parents are Kenyan actually. I was born from Kenyan parents, and then my mom and dad, they separated. I'd say 6 months after my birth. I'm actually the last of my siblings, of my mom and dad's siblings. There was 4 of us.
Wow.
And then my mom met a man from South Sudan by the way of Lugbada, the body peoples, right?
Look at all these family connections.
Central
Because I'm your sister.
Hey, listen, you can definitely clap for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I represent the Jalul. I'm a son of a proud Jalul man.
So where did Jaluas come from?
Lul peoples are all over East Africa. We represent the Acholi
That's true.
of Uganda, the Jonam of Uganda.
Shout out to my best friend.
The Alur of
Janet,
Uganda. That's right. And many others. And then in South Sudan, the Balanda Bor, the Shiluk, the Anuak. If I'm missing any, please let me know. But Lul people's all over East Africa, and I'm part of the Jalul community of Kenya, specifically Seme. Seme, I got you. That's my area. Seme, I got you.
We love it.
Both of my dads are watching. My stepdad from South Sudan. Hey, Kafita.
Hey,
what's up? And then
I'm practicing our Arabic over here.
all
guys.
right.
That's amazing.
Do you speak Swahili?
Najua Kiswahili.
Oh,
Najua.
I need to learn. That's one
Najua.
language I want to learn so bad.
I was born in Kenya, so I definitely and I lived in Kenya for a whole year.
Okay.
That's big.
So I definitely need to
remember that time. I was like, is Sarah coming back?
Oh, you mean when she was an
There
adult?
was whispers. They're like, is she
No,
married?
like-
Is she pregnant? I remember. I was like, can I not enjoy?
what?
People
What?
thought I went to.
Wait. They thought you were
They
pregnant?
thought I was married, pregnant, or trying to get married.
That's usually how it goes, though.
But there was a lot of assumptions.
Those
out
brothers
there.
are persistent, you know?
So
They might drop that bag, they might apply that
Go,
pressure.
the cows.
So speaking of that bag, since I represent 2 African nations, I actually went back home to see my dad, my biological dad, and my dad is watching, and he'll be watching. Nango Baba, Auntie, Jaseme, what's up? Yeah.
Your biological dad is Kenyan.
Yes, from Jalur.
Both his parents
Yeah.
biological.
But both of your
Kenyan.
parents, but your stepdad is
from South Sudan, from the Lugbada body peoples of South Sudan.
So he raised South Sudanese.
Yeah.
He's had a
Very
South Sudanese
much.
experience, huh?
So I've had
Oh,
a
I
big,
love
big
that.
South Sudanese experience. Even my mom, she got to know Juba Arabi a little bit, but I know Swahili
Yeah,
from her.
because her man speaks
Her man,
Okay.
yo.
Yeah.
And mom, what's up?
Standing.
Now,
So hold on. So one more thing. How about how me and him know each other?
Oh,
we
yeah.
were in the same refugee camp in Kenya.
Were you
Which one?
Kakuma?
Kakuma?
No.
No.
Jeez,
Oh,
guys.
okay, sorry.
I was there for a few months too.
We were in Thika refugee camp. It doesn't exist anymore because Nairobi's expanding and Thika's now a mall. So they destroyed that. Yeah. Anyway, long story
There's
short,
so
but
much stuff to talk about.
There's so
now.
much.
Yeah,
Shout out to Thika.
Yeah.
If you ever stayed there,
Yeah.
please
Yes.
jump in the comments.
so we've been
And Kakuma
we've been
refugee
tapped in for a minute. You
Wow.
know, and it's crazy. We talk about it all the time. Like there's so many people that we know or we went to high school with, or grew up with. They're no longer either here in America or they're either not free or they're not alive. So to think about it, to come from refugee camp and then still invest in a business together, and invest in experiences, education, everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, but it's not about me and him right now.
So how have y'all experienced
Black
the
tax.
Before he breaks it down, Natan said a good note, but I want to just read it so it helps jog up our talking points.
Mhm.
The black tax is a financial responsibility carried by upperly mobile family members to aid less financially fortunate relatives. When a family has collectively sacrificed for one member to become successful, that person often feels a desire and obligation to share their wealth with other family members. The black tax exists because segregation, discrimination, redlining, and other practices have kept Black populations in the United States from accumulating wealth. Various U.S. government programs are trying to ease the burden on less fortunate Americans, which may help reduce the black tax.
That's very, very important.
Mhm.
It's the historical context of the black tax. Yes. So thank you.
So I've been a victim of the black tax because, so prior to me finally going to see my dad, when I got to America, I had never been back home, right?
Mhm.
And so the time that I went to go and see before the time that I went to go see my dad, I used to hear my mom say, hey, okay, so one of the things I didn't like growing up was a lot of my parents' cooking because American food has that high salt. My tongue got addicted to that, and so that's my taste. So when I get home and I just see ugali and stew, and every single day, ugali and stew.
I love ugali.
Ugali
I
and
love
stew.
ugali.
Yeah, you
Mawiki.
loved it. I hated it because it was every day. But when I would go to school,
Chapati.
sure, can I tell you something?
Really? So the stew didn't have no salt in it? Your stew didn't have salt?
No.
My stew was salty.
Okay, not as much as American food has like the most amount of salt.
And we put Americans put cheese on everything, which makes everything more salty.
See, now I can say
you're
this.
right,
Exactly, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you just- So, okay, so
Sorry.
no, this is bringing back memories. So prior to me going to see my dad, I had grown up, and my mom would be like, because I would take the meat and just like toss it over my shoulder.
You a wild
and my
boy,
mom
man.
would be, she could
You wanted that whooping bad, didn't you?
I just didn't like, I was so bored, right? And so my mom would say things like, oh, you're gonna throw food away. Meanwhile, your brother or your brother and your sister's back home, especially where we're at from Kenya, is not like a, where my mom is from in Kenya.
Where is that?
So my dad is different from my mom. My dad is a Jaluo, and then my mom comes from a small group in central Kenya called the Nubi, and their primary base is Kibera. So in Kibera, which
where do
is
they come from?
Y'all, he gotta stick to his point.
This is context.
I know.
So
Kenyans
the Nubi
might be watching.
Right.
So what's up to the Nubi, man? And historically, they come from South Sudan over 200 years ago.
There we go.
There we go. That's what I wanted to hear.
Okay, that's what she was
Before
looking
the
That's what I was
borders.
getting
That's
at.
what she was
Before
looking
the
for. I
borders.
see now.
We're
It all
all
makes sense.
basically one people in
Absolutely.
a way. Yeah.
So that's why when sometimes they're like, "Oh, well, he's not even really South Sudanese." Like, but okay.
Yeah. Same thing with Jenny,
Yeah.
my best friend. It's like she's a Choli, even
Yeah,
though she's
from
from
Uganda,
Uganda.
yeah.
We basically are the same people.
Facts.
I mean, we're
Right.
we're Nilotic people, so we move.
Yes.
Like we moved around. So yeah.
So in Kibera is the largest slum in East Africa. Shout out to Kibera. What's up, number 90 Octo Pizzo? I see you. I'm naming
I
y'all
love
some
that.
guys from our hood, and it's really bad, right? It's a slum, right? NGOs, they call it nonprofit in the United States, but it's called NGOs in Africa, right?
Yeah.
And so like when you got all these NGOs in a certain place, it's usually not a good place. So my mom would just be like, "Hey, your brothers and sisters back home." They would like jump at the meat that you're throwing behind your shoulder, right?
Yeah,
sure.
that's what they always say. There's people in Africa.
Yeah, they're starving,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, not only am I gonna go see my dad, I'm gonna see if it's actually like this. Because one of the things that confused me is when they would put on Congolese music videos in the 90s,
Oh.
nobody's
till
starving
today.
in these music videos. In fact, people are rolling in the best Lexus, best Range Rover. especially-
Mercedes.
Kofi is
Yeah.
like dipped and draped, right?
Fashions from Paris.
But I'm seeing Africa because there's African dancers. So I'm thinking this is Africa, right? And then remember, like the wave of Nigerian music, right, started coming along. So I'm like,
That was in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, though. Congolese had the game on lock. For
Lock,
a long
absolutely.
That's African
time.
music to me.
Well,
Period.
well,
for
when I
all,
went-
for all of us.
well, when I went was 2012, right?
Okay.
So now Afro beats, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing like these places in Lagos, places in Accra, and I'm like, is Africa real? People are partying. People are smoking the best hookah. Taking, sorry,
Not you
I'm
punching
getting
our
it.
mic.
I'm getting excited.
You
right?
mad. The mic didn't deserve that, Ochanda. I'm just kidding. Go.
And so I'm like, is Africa this bad the way that my parents talked about it?
Right.
So when I went to go and see my dad, right? Sure, like the slums are the slums. They're their areas, right? But the other parts of Africa, especially where my dad comes from, we grow our own food.
Yeah.
We have our own
Yeah.
chickens. We have our own goats,
Yeah.
right?
Perspective, because now that I'm older, that to me is the best lifestyle. Like
Mhm.
eating, like we're getting poisoned, but that's a whole nother topic. Real food, homegrown, having control over your food source. Like I feel like whenever we think about Africa, sometimes we're like, oh, poverty, we're poor, we don't have this,
Yeah.
we live in huts. That was going.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah,
the
but it's
conversation.
like it's all is a matter of perspective.
Right. So where did you start paying the black tax?
So before I even touched the ground in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, I was one of my connecting flights. He always makes fun because I got like the lowest, cheapest ticket. So I had 5 connecting
He took
flights.
Spirit to Africa.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
Minneapolis to Houston,
I've done that
Houston to DC, DC to Doha, Qatar, Doha, Qatar, then to
He was
Nairobi.
on a world
How
tour,
many
man.
hours was that?
30 hours. 31,
Oh, boy.
30 hours, 31. So when I was in one of these one of the many connecting airports, my sister on WhatsApp was like, "Did you bring me a MacBook?" Not a laptop.
Somebody else said that.
Not a
last
laptop.
episode.
And she's going to be watching.
Yeah.
You asked me not for any laptop. You just said a MacBook.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I think we brought it up on the last episode because somebody else in our last episode said the same thing, that when he went to Africa, they asked for a MacBook. And it really is capitalism. Because my mom does that shit too. Because she has a MacBook that she doesn't even use. She don't even know how to use it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, Mom, I actually low-key need that MacBook. Can I actually get it? Like, I really need that. I have a whole podcast. Like, I have work, blah, blah, blah. She's like, no. I'm like, Mom, you're not using it. But it's like, when she pulls out the MacBook, it's like status. It's like,
let me pop my...
You know, okay. Artifact, Apple, you always... It's like, it has to be capitalism. Because, like, what do you need? What do you need a MacBook in an area where, like, there's food insecurity, there's famine? Like, that's the least of our concerns. It has to be capitalism.
Let's break it down. Let's talk about obligation. We did another episode of financial literacy where mujamalat was brought up and how like there's guilt. Mujamalat. So mujamalat in Arabic is like you can't say going along because this is what is expected. Your obligation is culture. It's culture as well. It's like you have to take care of your family back home if you're the one that made it.
So it's a guilt trip.
It's not.
Yeah, it's like shame. Yeah. It's like shame if you say no and you have it.
I like the word obligation.
You're obligated because if you don't do it, then it's like why wouldn't you? It's like shameful. Yeah. Like you have it and you're not doing it. They're gonna start saying that you're greedy.
Do you feel obligated to?
This is really good.
Yeah.
So, and I'm speaking to the young Ochandas in high school.
Speak to the young generation. Right? Yeah.
The young Ochanda in high school was graduating high school. So the summer I chose to work to try to save my financial burden of the upcoming freshman year of college, right? My mom, and you're going to watch this because me and you, we cool like that, right? Me and my mom had the biggest argument because the last semester of my senior year, I was deducting a certain amount from my paycheck working part-time to send to whomever smoking hookah back home.
Chana, how much do you think, like, not to get in your business, how much do you think you was making around that time? Just to get...
I know this because I looked it up. Yeah. In high school, I was making $7.25 an hour. Just to let you guys know in Africa, that's barely enough to buy a sambusa from a Somali restaurant here in America, right?
Now you dragging it out.
Why the Somalis getting the...
Because they're the ones that have the sambusa, right? Let me talk.
That's all my warriors, man. We love y'all.
So this one particular day, I'm actually about to go because I need shoes because, by this
you've been running them streets, man.
Because I've been working, right? And my mom calls me and she's like, hey, and Mom, you probably didn't think I remember this story. And she's like, hey, how come I haven't seen any money from you? And I go, money from what? Money for what? From what? And we proceed to have a back and forth on the phone. And then she tries to guilt trip me with this, what do I call it? African gaslighting. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, those people, they need your help. And I proceeded to tell her, and the young Ochanda, you need to say this to your parents as well. Step it up. And I told her, I didn't have sex and have those kids. Those individuals had sex and had those kids. That's not my financial responsibility. Should I have kids, then those are my financial. We got in a back and forth, and we didn't talk for about a month.
Wow. How old were you? You were in high school?
Graduating high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure if my dad was
around, you weren't upwardly mobile. Yeah, were you?
Yeah. No.
I'm just saying that's part of the definition. I'm not trying to be funny.
I drove a hoopty to work.
You even had a car. That's even an accomplishment.
But why would you even expect that of a young high school?
Yeah, it's the problem with Africans right now. It's the problem. Like, a lot of us have this financial burden, and some of us are gaslit to the point where we're like, well, yeah, these kids. Meanwhile, some of these kids, you go on Snapchat or TikTok, Friday night, the biggest hookah cloud will be blown from your money being sent from MoneyGram, Western Union.
In Westlands.
You name it, bro. And then the Johnny Walker, the Jameson, the drinks. Mm-hmm. You think like it's going to feed rice? Some of these kids are like, oh my God. Yo, guys, we're eating chips, fries, and cuckoo and chicken.
And I think it's important to say that the black tax not only applies to South Sudanese, it applies to all Black people, whether it's African Americans here in the United States or Jamaican immigrants or Caribbean immigrants or other African immigrants as well. So I feel like this is a problem that it's kind of like blanketed across the board for us as immigrants.
Yeah, there just might be a little bit like differences and nuances based on your culture. But yeah, for sure. I think also too, I don't think the people in Africa back home realize like our financial state.
No, they don't.
They think I think that they believe that since we're in America, we have access to so much money. You know how they say like the money grows on trees in America? They literally think that it does. Like they think you're making a lot of money. we're making, like, we eat off $1 a day. You're making probably, like, if you're making $10, you're making a lot of money. So you can send us a MacBook, or you can send me an iPhone, or send me a phone. But they don't realize, like, how expensive America is, and, like, the cost of living is here also. So I also want to give them that grace, where it's not necessarily like they're trying to, like, they don't think that they're bleeding us dry.
Right. Especially, and I'm going to use, since we both have podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Stuff on YouTube. When they see us, like with Ochana in this nice shirt on today. Right?
Both of you.
Yeah, and
He's got a peanut butter leather jacket. Come on, guys.
I love it.
shout out to all my Equatorian peanut butter eaters.
I love it. Represent.
Shout out to all South Sudanese. But yeah, like when you have
Y'all are crazy.
You got the peanit butter on too. I thought you guys planned this.
I'm just saying.
Nah, we
I've
definitely
never
didn't
seen
do
a
that.
leather jacket like this. That's how good this
this is the
is.
this is the K-Mort edition.
They came on. Oh my god.
Peanut butter warriors unite.
So, man, now you got me all. You got
No.
me.
My bad.
What was he saying?
You were saying they see us, like, people from
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
see us, yeah.
podcast.
So of course, like they
YouTube.
see us like on YouTubers, like to them it's like, oh my god, like you're making whatever money they think like from YouTubers. Yeah, like we're
Their
making that to
currency,
them.
maybe.
You know. So I'm gonna share one story I had, a black tag story, and I'm split on this. So you mentioned children. So my family, we have like this thing, and I really didn't like it at first, but every month, like we have to put up like $100. Imagine, right, for our kids going to like school in the refugee camp. And I get it, they're in the refugee camp, so it's like, and like I said, I'm obligated to do that, right? So with kids, I have a soft spot in my heart for them, right? But I'll tell you guys a story about my older cousin, and he's watching, and he's in Juba, right? And actually, I have smoked with him on site, really, to be honest with you. But
You mean smoke? What do you mean by that?
we have a disagreement,
Problem.
you know.
Oh,
Very similar.
issues,
And then
huh?
mushkila kabir, you know. Hey, he knows.
Mushkila كبير ما سكر.
Out of it,
huh?
taban, you know.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Gotcha.
So
Get it, big dog.
we raised money because our aunt, who's his mom, his blood mom, was in a refugee camp. Due to the violence that was going on in the country in Uganda. And so we raised money to get her out, you know, so she can live an actual life.
Out of the
right?
refugee camp.
Yes.
Okay. Into the
Raised
city.
money and we sent it to him. He's like, I'm going to go. He was in South Sudan. He's like, I'm going to go to Uganda. I'm going to get her. I'm going to build a small house. You know, like all of those
I
great
know where
things.
this is going.
So she can farm and provide for herself. And be
Yes.
self-sufficient.
So we don't have to continue to, you know.
Yeah, and feed the.
And long story short, he gets the money.
Mhm.
And you can't answer this, but I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think he did with the money? I'll give you guys.
Oh,
He used it on himself.
We heard this story so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just used it on himself, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never know what happened to
Yeah.
the money.
So the guy was already
He said somebody robbed him.
No, not even that. That would have been better. He went and married a second wife
Nice.
with that money.
Congratulations.
And at that time, I was like 21, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait,
right?
he paid dowry.
Family.
Twice.
He paid dowry
Yeah.
with the money that you sent
Yes.
for.
Not just me. All our family
For his
members
own
sent
mother.
money. You
For
know?
his
And
own
he left
mother.
his mom in a refugee camp and went and married another wife and got her iPhone Max Pro,
Nice.
whatever,
They
whatever
tricking
they
if
call
he
it.
got it, man. Come
But
on.
he ain't
He
got
doesn't
it.
got it.
Well, I mean,
So how is he supposed to take care of his wife? But that's a
That was
whole
the question.
nother-
And I was
yeah.
like, I was 21. And I was
Thank
like,
you.
bro, I don't have one wife yet at that time. I'm like, but you want me to sponsor your two wives? Then he's like, she's going to have a baby soon. And I'm like, bro,
Nice.
please.
That's so
Nice.
He said, I don't have
Yeah.
one.
No, one even.
He said, I don't have one wife yet. And you want me to sponsor your second wife?
That's such a good
That's
point.
funny.
Yeah.
Like
Look at that.
that whole story, because it's like they have this perception of how we're doing, like you said, over here, but they don't understand the way that America works is we're all in debt. Like everything is based on debt. So back home,
real.
you
Yeah.
buy stuff cash, like it's different. So we might look like, oh, they just bought a house, but they only probably put 20% down. You know, they didn't buy cash, like that house cash.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to talk about like the differences in like how America
Debt
runs and
system.
how it's a debt society as
Yeah.
well when it comes to the black tax.
Can we please talk about that? But that's crazy that he left his mom at the damn refugee
That's
camp
why
to
we have
get
a problem.
married.
That's why we have a
Right.
problem. It ain't about the
Because
money.
for him, it's like
Yeah.
it's okay. Like that money's not gonna affect you.
He
like
don't care,
you'll
yeah.
make it back. But for
You don't
me,
care about
it's
your mom?
life changing.
But what about your mom?
Yeah,
that's
that's
where
all
I'm.
like,
I'm that's the part I'm
yeah.
lost at.
Right. But that
Yeah.
happens all the time. I've had family members who have set a big amount of money like that, like 20, 30,
Yeah.
40,000, 50,000 back home. And whatever that project was for, nothing came of it. So it happens all the time.
It was
Like,
standing on them stilts.
yeah.
son.
So
and what are you going to do? Your family. Like, what are you supposed to do?
but like, because we're gonna get to the model of like the American financial system to the African, because that was a great point. Like, yeah, we are just that society. So I could have went. I might have to pay interest for the money that I gave to you, and you went and used it for something that was not even like that I didn't tell you to use. But like, where's y'all's relationship stand with your cousin?
It's on site when I see him for my own aunt. Not even because of.
She's still there.
Is she still there?
She's still in the camp.
Wow.
Not even that. You see?
Look at that.
She will never know peace.
No,
But
that's what I'm saying.
But it's family, guys.
Yeah.
It's family.
So
You guys
and they're telling me,
you guys should
let it go, let it
send
go.
that 500 so that way
But you know what? There's been a movement online I've been seeing on YouTube about how they've been telling people to disassociate and stop sending money back home.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You guys know about that.
Those are not our kids. Those are not our kids. Not our kids. When it's not your child, first, your parents should have made. Okay, real quick. One of the things that I don't like that come from African men that are fathers now, been fathers in yesteryear, is the whole, you as a son, you're supposed to get to a point where you're going to retire me. BS. Because if a lot of our parents, right, whether it's the Quran or the Bible that they read, right, in the Bible, I believe it's Proverbs verse 13,
Wow,
chapter
look at you,
22.
bro. You Easter ready, aren't you?
Tomorrow's Easter, guys.
I know my audience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I can't remember verbatim, but it says that the best thing that a parent can do is leave a child inheritance. How many of our parents are leaving us with inheritance? Yeah.
That's a good question,
Another
but
day.
I don't really expect that just because I know what my parents went through to migrate here, and I fully do expect and am happy to take care of them when they retire, just because my parents were phenomenal parents to me. But I understand because it's different if your parents are like back home. I don't know, but for me, I'm ready to take care of my parents.
Me too.
to the
I'm
last.
I ain't gonna lie,
I'm
yeah,
ready to take care.
absolutely,
I'm ready
yeah.
to take care of my. I'm ready.
I
to
know.
take care of my
He the
mom.
leader of that
My
movement he was talking
I
about.
don't know about
There's nothing-
extended
there's nothing wrong
family.
with that mindset.
Extended
Remember,
family
it
is
says-
different,
Yeah.
but my mom
Yeah.
and dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to take care of my family, extended family.
Yeah. Y'all gonna have to thug it out.
No,
God, sorry.
unless we're super close.
Yeah.
But like my mom, my dad passed away. Rest in peace
Oh,
to
rest in peace
my
to
dad.
him, yeah.
But my mom, I'm ready to take care of her. But her herself, she has been hustling. Like
Sudanese women are the
she-
ultimate hustlers.
listen,
for
she's-
sure.
she's been out
Yeah.
there. I mean, she wrote a book.
Really?
Yeah, she wrote a
Do you
book.
have a copy?
Yes, I'm gonna give
Okay,
it to you guys and
yeah.
I'm gonna post it. It's called
Oh, bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
we got
okay.
this.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna say the wrong name. I was gonna say Woman in War, but the book is called Woman Caught in the Crossfire,
Got it.
and it's just about like the experience of women during the Civil War, the first Civil War in Sudan. So she wrote a book, and then she also works for a nonprofit organization that helps women in South Sudan
Oh, that's
start
what's up.
businesses.
Do you want to name drop it? Do you want to drop the name of the?
It's COE. It's part of a It's part of the World World Bank.
Okay.
So it's like an association of the World Bank, and it's like the conference of like I don't remember. I'll have to like put it down because it's COWE. So it's
Okay.
an acronym, but I'll definitely send it to you guys and put it in the podcast.
Show notes.
But she works for a nonprofit organization. She wrote a book. She's in South Sudan. She started her own business.
Shout out to your mom.
Yeah, so she's actually working really hard to like break the curse of the black tax,
Yeah.
Right.
so that we don't have to like. I'm willing to take care of her. My sister, we're all willing to take care of her. Everything that she needs, my brother, we're willing to take care of her. But she's like, I really want to work for myself and like build something for you guys too. Leave something behind
I
for
love
you
that.
guys.
Yeah.
Like
Can
she
your
literally
mom-
is like
I have a few people that your mom needs to meet.
talk to. But like that's literally her mindset. We're like we're working to take care of her, but she's also working to take care of us.
As it
So I feel like
should,
it should
yeah.
be like a balance.
Right.
I just wanted to shout that out because it's not always like the same
Yeah.
way for every
Yeah.
family. There's some families
Yeah.
where their parents are working hard for their kids. But no, I understand because it is a big problem in the South Sudanese community and the African community in general.
How am I
So
gonna?
speaking of him, you brought up Proverbs 13:22, and we did have that sent into us. So
Okay.
a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So I think that's so good for what you just said about your mom and what he said as
Go
Yeah.
ahead and preach, Oshanda.
It just like we gotta ask ourselves, like, how long are we gonna continue to be? Real quick, I got two stories. This first one's real short. I asked one of my Kenyan friends, I was like, hey, do you still get those WhatsApp messages, those Facebook inbox messages? Like, hey, bro, they're always checking on you. Hey, bro, I'm just checking on you. Why are you checking on me? Go and check on your grades, big dog. Man, hey, get yourself a little kiosk or a matatu. Go check that.
Achanda is sick and tired.
Man, come on. So
He's fed
anyways,
up.
so I asked him, I was like, yo, you get, and he goes, yeah, I get those messages. And I go, how do you handle that? How do you handle, because I just say no, but how do you do it? You seem like you're never stressed about this. And he goes, what I do is, he goes, because his mom was still back home. And he goes, I tell my friends who's ever asking, hey, I don't have it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that amount that you're asking for, go to the house and go tell my mom what you need it for. And if she has it, she'll just pay you and then I'll repay her when I get it. And he knows that it's hard for people to lie to his parents.
That's smart.
So he did that he told one of his friends that. He says to this day, and this was 2013, that friend has not ever talked to him ever since.
Good riddance.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look at that.
That's a good workaround to get rid of somebody indirectly.
So like, as much as like we love to do like these like, you know, stories of like, well, I'm helping out and like, oh my God, it's gonna like build this. There's a lot of finessing, man.
No,
like,
no.
Let's call it out.
Can we talk about the stories that they tell?
Yeah,
It'd be like,
man.
you know, her boba swallowed a knife.
Oh my God.
Like,
come on, man.
somebody needs like back and heart surgery.
Like the
and,
medical, like somebody went for leprosy. Leprosy's been wiped. What are we talking about?
They got polio.
Man?
Like,
yeah, come on.
But one thing I want to talk about, because you're talking about like your immediate family that's back home.
Yeah.
Us as third culture kids, right?
Ooh.
So for us, it's a little different. Well, it's a real thing.
Is it really?
Third culture kids is a real thing.
I always tell them about words that I find out from this show.
Coming here.
But yeah, go ahead, Chrissy, about the
third culture kids, as South Sudanese who migrated to America, who don't necessarily fit into either culture 100% perfectly, third culture kids, for us, it's a little different because we are the younger generation and my parents live here. So it's my extended family that is back home. And I'm not going to lie, I don't send money back home unless it's like, if something happened and I don't feel obligated to either because I don't know them. Like, we're family.
No, you're right.
We're family, but I haven't had the privilege to grow up with my grandparents or to grow up back home with my cousins and stuff. So we technically are strangers. We don't know each other outside of the fact that we're like blood family, blood related. So I really want to touch on that difference between like the generation that's a little bit older than us, whose family might be back home and they actually were living in Sudan or Egypt at a time and they like have a direct connection to them, to the people like us and like my little brother. He's not gonna send money back home because
like what?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, Gen Z is definitely not sending no money home.
Matter of fact, they're gonna tweet about it. Be like, you know, my auntie from South Sudan asked me.
She tweaking.
Like,
Exactly. And I want to start sending money like just to be nice, but I don't necessarily feel obligated to, in the same sense that like if I had grown up back home and came here maybe in high school or a little bit older, I would. So I really want to, Sarah, do you feel obligated to send money back home? I know your mom's back home. But...
Yeah. Well, I'm the youngest of my family. So the black tax, like I mean, I experienced it in different ways, but not necessarily as far as like sending money back home because I was the youngest. So I wasn't like always expected. It was usually my older siblings that had to do it. Maybe my turn is slowly coming because my uncle's calling me like, Chomo, I see you on TV.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying?
The gaslighting is coming.
They said you're on the news. You know, we need an iPhone. Like, you know, like
iPhone Max.
Yes, and like the Android and like, I'm like, oh my gosh, my time is here.
You're right.
But I didn't experience it when I was younger. So, and then obviously now, like I'm being a little bit separated from like my sister and my brother's generation. Yeah, I do. I'm like, I'm gonna send it to my direct family if they really, really need it. But I'm not gonna send money to like extended family member who messages me on WhatsApp or you know, Facebook Messenger and be like, and ask me like, oh, I need this and that. Like, I don't feel obligated to do that. My direct family, yes, I do feel that obligation.
Same. What about you, Maxwell?
So it's interesting that you said because I'm the youngest as well, but it's opposite for me. I actually have most of the burden of the black tax. And I have older brothers, right? Older than me. One of my brothers passed away last year, so he's not you know, part of the equation. But my eldest brother.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But now you see, he has kids and he's gone now. He's got 4 kids. So, you know, all of those things, they fall down, they trickle down. And regardless of me being the youngest, I never had that excuse because whenever people think you're doing well, it doesn't matter if you're the oldest, the youngest, the middle, the whatever. So even like I even had with, you know, elder siblings and stuff like that. So I wish I would have got that experience of being like
The younger.
the young, like the actual experience of being the youngest, you know.
Yeah.
But I also feel to whom much is given, much is expected. Also, so
There you go.
know, I can't. As much as I want to complain, it's not part of my culture. And secondly, it's just like I complain if I was really hurting really bad. I might complain then, but like if I could take care of it, if I could handle it, and I know, China, I know this rubs you.
Bro, people, like let me look into this camera. It's number 2, right?
Yeah.
Young Ochandas out there, young Maxwell's out there. So many Africans are full of BS.
Mhm.
Just know that.
Oh,
And what that means is
I think
that-
everyone's full of BS though.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're relating this to the
Yeah,
black
okay, yeah,
tax.
you're right.
So
as far as
like
the black tax, yeah.
so like that medical bill that doesn't exist. That school fee. These are foolproof things that you can do. Call the hospital directly. Call the school directly. Send the money directly to that.
Mhm.
If you're really gonna do that.
So that's what we do, yeah. And we get grades. So every like month we get like a grade report from. Yeah. So yeah, it's serious. I've shown him,
Yeah.
and he's
I have a to play devil's advocate.
yeah.
For the people back home who may be actually struggling and there's no welfare, there's no Section 8, there's no food stamps, and we are literally the only hope for them to be able to get some type of like support or anything like that. Should we take that into consideration, or
Yeah,
should
absolutely.
we just prioritize our own financial budgets and well-being?
I definitely, to answer your question, Christine, kind of got sidetracked a little bit, but that was a great like leeway. I think we do have to consider like the conditions of people in South Sudan, because literally South Sudan is a country that is struggling
Mhm.
financially, economically, politically. So they're not always. It's not about like lies.
Mhm.
All the time. It's not,
I'm just like, please.
it's not always about like they're trying to finesse us. They're actually,
y'all crazy,
they're actually
dog.
struggling. No, the people,
Hey,
the
have faith
people,
in our people,
the
bro.
people that you don't even have to have faith. You could just go on the news on Google and see
Yeah.
like the conditions of South Sudanese
absolutely.
people.
Mhm.
They're
Oh,
actually
and right
struggling.
now the oil pipeline being cut off means people aren't being paid salaries.
There you go. People are literally living off of like less than $1 a day in South Sudan. Let's be honest. Like they live in famine. Like they live in like food insecurity. The worst conditions that you can think of, they live in those conditions. Not everybody, because I know people are going to be on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not everybody
Yeah.
lives like that. That's.
But where's the middle? I guess what I'm trying to say is where's the middle ground, and then also
I think the middle ground is like you said. Eric, shout out to Eric. He's not on camera right now, but the difference between investing and just like sending money. We need to like start focusing more on investing into like our people more than just sending the money, and then they're gonna need the money next month or
Exactly.
next week and next week. Like start something, like start a like something that's sustainable that will help not only them create like monetary value for themselves, but also the community around them. Where they can benefit off of that, like a water, like like a water company.
come with the business
fruits,
plan.
anything. Ketkede. People be having ketkede companies now in South
Yeah.
Sudan, and that's beautiful.
Mhm.
You know.
So for me, I think a couple of days ago, I'm sure you guys, and this is gonna sound crazy, but Meek Mill and DJ Academics, they had a little back and forth.
Yeah, he's been on his
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Academics is like, I'll pay you $1 million to do this podcast, right?
Mm.
And DJ Vlad,
They laughed at it.
Yeah, he's
Academic.
like, yeah, don't ever pay someone money up front for something they've never done or they don't have the skill set to do.
Ooh.
I
Right?
saw that too.
So it's like we could give people money, but if you're giving someone to start off, like let's just say, I'm gonna use your example, hotel business, and they've never ran anything in their life, like it's gonna be difficult. So what I'll probably
You're not
do,
wrong.
I agree with you said. So as far as investing, I would test their business ability. I'll buy them one border. I'll be like, hey, here's one border. I'm gonna give you 6 months. I need a report quarterly. I'll just say I need a quarterly report on how much you're making.
Oh my god.
And if he comes back and he buys another border within 6 months, I'm gonna invest more money into him.
Yeah.
But that's also
That's
important
smart.
too, because they talk about how like the Black community, we don't know how to use our money.
We
Like,
don't.
we don't know
Yeah.
how to like
Especially
Yeah.
businesses.
yes with businesses. So like you can't just give somebody like a big
Yeah, you
chunk
can't
of
do that.
money.
You blame
And
yourself.
but that's also like our solution is we're always like, oh no, we're gonna
Yeah.
give them money to like invest in a company and like let's see how it goes. But it's like
And they're gonna do this import
That's a-
export business that they've never
done before. And that's a realistic
Yeah.
like counter
Yeah.
to that, which is important.
I know
love that.
someone who
Yeah.
sent like I think 50K USD back to their country for like a fish farm, and then nothing ever came of it.
Nice.
There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories.
Sorry,
like
not
that.
to reaffirm Ochanda's.
No,
but it's true though.
But it happens to people a lot. Like you might send money back home for a house to be built, and you come back home and it's just the four walls.
Yeah, and the point is not to discourage or like speak negatively, but just talk about the realistic, like the realism of like all these situations. Like we think that we have the answers, but it's not as easy as we would think it is, because like you said, people say, well, we need to start investing and send money to invest into a company. Like you said, like how are you going to send money into somebody that has never run a business before?
Be the overseer.
A lot of people are doing that now, going back home to start businesses and like taking what they've learned here in the diaspora as well.
But do we have time to do that though?
That's the thing.
As people who are working like regular jobs, 9 to 5s, like, you know, like do we have time to like go back and like show people how to start? But some people in diaspora here don't even, some people, we never had business. People don't have businesses.
I think
ourselves. We gotta start with us. Like, we gotta start with us.
If you're gonna, to me, versus sending money back home, go back home and like
start your own
see
business?
About it yourself.
Yeah.
You might not have to be there for the whole thing, but don't just send money and then like assign it to someone else. You go back there yourself and you take command and go talk to the people you need to talk to and set it up with your money. You know?
Yeah, right.
So,
but we don't even have businesses here set up ourselves.
You've never done it here in America.
Yeah, exactly. So either
I do
way,
want to shout out. I just discovered yesterday a Sudanese grocery store here in Dallas and Irving. Yes, it's called Salwa's store, and she has like bahur. I went and got khabis from her yesterday for my mom. She has jalabiyas. She has
I'm gonna do that for my mom.
Groceries and stuff. She has the siniyas. All like everything is Sudanese like culture that you can think of. The music, everything is at her store, and I had no idea it existed. So I'm gonna try to insert videos that I took while I was there, but I do want to do a proper promotion on social media for her. But we are like, that shut me up because I was like, I stayed talking about how we don't have any business, and I was like, oh. You know, when I pulled up, I was like, okay, you know,
we do. We have a couple.
She has business cards, everything. Like she's very professional. I can just tell from the short interaction I had with her. So I think that we don't have a lot, but we got to start somewhere.
We got to start somewhere. Yeah, and we're still trying to figure out the solution. But I want to let the Kush Convos podcast close us out.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Yes.
Just to add to your point, you said you didn't do it here. I have a very good mentor, a very good friend of mine, and he told me, he's like, Max, whatever you want to do in your country, you got to do it here first. He's like, you got to do it here first. You don't got to perfect it here, but you got to start it and build an infrastructure and have at least a base of knowledge of what you're doing. Because if you could do it here, you could essentially recreate the wheel anywhere. So I just think it's important. Any of us, like we live in America, 2024. We have access to everything, right? So whatever you want to do, whether it's podcasting like you guys have done, whether it's model shows, whether it's emceeing, we could literally do anything and everything we want to do. So my advice to all the viewers and fans of Ladies of Sosa, Kush Convos, just go out there and do it. Just build it, you know. And then you can talk. And then till then, you can't really say nothing. You can't tell nobody how to do anything until you do it yourself. So
Black Tax, will you continue sending money back home? Or
I'm very selective.
Where are you at?
I'm very selective about who I send it to. Like I said, I test people now. I used to just blindly, like you said, you know, like I feel bad, like I feel like I just got to do it, but I don't do that no more. I'll test you. I'll send you like okay, like you said, I'm checking on you. No, now I'm checking on you to see how you did with that money, right?
They got receipts. They got receipts in Africa.
And if you tell me, oh, you know, this thing happened on the road. There was a rain. It was rainy season.
No,
I don't want to hear any of that.
Right.
You know, like it's over with. So yeah, I do. I'm very selective, and I filter out as much as I possibly can without having my emotions attached to it as much.
Right. I love that. I love that.
Oh,
on Black Tax.
all
We know
right.
you're not sending money back home. But
No, not at all. And my message for the African diaspora, don't send money back home. So there's a few things why. Number one, get the voices out of your head. Usually when you're sending money back home, it's because your mom's voice, your dad's voice, your uncle with the wooden leg, your aunt with the glass eye, your cousin with the arm growing out of their forehead. They're telling you to send money back home because somebody got sick or somebody was in an accident. Why were they riding a motorcycle without a helmet? Like that, like just like
First of all,
get
that's not a regulation. That's back in South
but now they're hurt, and now you that are working at Kinko's part-time is responsible for
Kinko's
that
is
medical
not even
bill.
in business anymore.
Well,
Yeah,
wherever.
So you're not working. huh?
Wherever. So you're not. So you're getting an unemployment check, and you're having to send that Western Union
Imagine,
or send
yeah.
Wave. Do not send money back at home. Number two, because those are not your children. Those people made a decision to get together one night, 2 nights, one night stand, friends with benefits, and they had a child. And that father did it because he doesn't have any discipline in his life.
Okay.
That person needs to live with their consequences. Number 3, why you shouldn't send money back home? Build yourself. Most of you are sending money back home. Just to let you, real quick, the word remittances, I don't know the definition, but it's basically money being sent back home. In 2022, the African diaspora on record sent $100 billion to the continent of Africa.
Statistics
Come on,
and the
statistics.
facts.
That's
and
what
the
we like.
numbers.
We like facts.
And there's hardly any businesses that came.
That is true.
It was paying for people's rent, paying for people's utilities,
Second wives,
paying for
third
people's
wives.
second wives and other polygamous relationships, and also paying
No
for hookah
infrastructure.
and sherehe, which you guys called ruka.
Yeah.
No more. It's only you that can stop it. Focus on yourself, Ochanda.
What was that word? The Arabic term called?
What?
The word-
Mujamalat?
What is it?
Mujamalat?
Mujamala. Okay, I'm sorry. I just have to think about that because that's deep. Wow, I
Well,
didn't know.
speaking
I didn't know the
of,
numbers. I didn't know the numbers.
Kinko's, fun fact.
Yeah.
Another statistic.
Yeah.
FedEx bought Kinko's for $2.4 billion. So I stand corrected.
Yes.
They actually
Kinko's
are
is in-
still in business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And do not-
You are the best.
And do
You're
not
the best.
and do not send your Kinko's money back home.
Listen.
Keep your
What
Kinko's
are we gonna
check.
do with that in your time, man?
Listen,
I've already gotten used to
Listen,
this.
our marketing strategist,
funny.
our marketing strategist is behind the camera, and she's over here sending us like the facts, like you
That's
know,
hilarious.
don't come in here.
Numbers.
We
That's
love you.
hilarious.
She came- big shout out. Hold on.
I
Kinko's
stand
is gonna catch
corrected.
This episode.
I stand corrected.
Well, I mean, that was a great way to end it off. Like, I mean, should we say anything? Because y'all killed
No,
that.
I'm gonna say, as a third culture kid, I'm gonna take care of
killed
my
it.
parents 100%. Their retirement, everything
too.
is on me.
Yeah.
And when I can, if something's going on, like some of my mom's family is back in Sudan, I will contribute where I can. But I don't necessarily feel like it should be a part of my monthly budget too.
Absolutely. Or
Yeah.
it, should,
My
agree with
priority is my parents.
it shouldn't.
That's how I look at it. As a
It
third
shouldn't put a
culture.
debt in your financial.
Yeah, of course.
like,
No,
your
I take care.
finances,
My
yeah.
parents raised me. Like, I know them. Like, you know, so I'm gonna make sure anything that they need, I'm there. Like, as the oldest family manager, like I'm already doing everything.
Right,
So
period. I agree. I second Christine
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
much. I'm
so
with that,
shout
yeah.
out to Kush Convos podcast. It was
Thank y'all
so
for having me.
natural. Honestly,
Thank you. Y'all did
like
such a great
you
job.
guys, I'm just giving you guys all of like my warm wishes, like for your podcast may continue to grow. I'm looking at Maxwell's bracelet. If you could put it out on
Oh, yeah.
camera, representing South Sudan.
Which camera?
Period. This is
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
collab for the media space here in America. We don't have a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know, of podcasts here. So we're so thankful that you guys made the trip down here to our studios. We're
Yes.
going to collab with them right after this, but
Yes.
I'll let you guys
Yes.
finish off and plug yourself.
Plug yourself. Plug the podcast and where they can find you. All of that.
Yes.
Well, I'll let Ochana do the plugging, but I just want to say thank you guys, and I feel like we finally made it. You know, we're on Ladies of Sosa.
This is
so,
good.
yeah.
This is amazing. I love this.
Yeah, for sure.
Big dog,
Right.
man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And you always clean. And I know I said something about the jacket.
Peanut
I
butter.
want that.
Well, we have
Yeah.
the same stylist team. So.
Clearly.
So, my name is Ochanda with my guy Wodium. You can find us on YouTube at Kush Convos TV, soon to be Kush Media Group. Again, but right now that is Kush Space Convos TV. We are named Kush after the ancient African kingdom of Kush.
I love
That is nowadays Sudan, South Sudan.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Ethiopia.
There you go. We got to talk about that.
I love that you brought that up.
The
We should have
history.
asked about that.
The history, yeah.
Where you can find me, the #1 MC in the game, MC Cadero, is www.mccadero.com. That's MCKADERO. I do again funerals, baby showers, divorce parties, weddings, receptions, all the above, and hopefully a Ladies of Sosa themed event or
Yes,
ran and
gala,
operated
red
event,
carpet,
right?
yeah.
And one last thing, we look forward to doing this so much. So there's 2 things that I want to announce. One, you guys are awesome. You guys are not only representation of just South Sudanese women, but just Black women that have said to themselves, like, instead of everybody sees those people on Facebook typing paragraphs, And I always say those people can either write a book or start a podcast. You guys have said, let's do that. And you guys have ads running throughout your videos now. So you guys are getting a check from it. We'll talk off camera.
Look, you trying to say black tax, man.
Why you put our business out there like that? We ain't got it. Now people from Africa gonna reach out to us.
You guys are for the black tax, so it's okay. So
now we're gonna give the man said you guys are getting a check from, so now auntie, like,
So I say that to say that there are women that can look at that as for an example and say, like, instead of me writing these empty paragraphs on Facebook, I can have a podcast and earn money, right? You guys have merchandise that are coming to you guys. It was delivered to my house before we left. So both of you guys have merch, official merch coming to you guys as sweatshirts. So will you guys like it?
Hey,
I think I got your
sweatshirts.
sizes. If not, reach out to us. We'll get you can free
Thank you.
return.
That's so
that's
sweet
so
of you
nice.
guys.
That's so nice.
Other thing, you guys got a second gift as well.
What? No.
No.
Are you serious? This is so sweet.
Thank you guys.
Listen, like
so
I said,
much.
we give flowers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. These are candles.
I love
from
gifts.
Kush,
Oh my God.
from Kush Convos TV. Enjoy.
Candles.
Yeah, and wax.
And
yeah.
I love candles. Let me smell.
Oh yeah.
What that smell like?
South Sudanese. We know. One thing about us,
It's
we
giving
know.
bukhur.
That's Bakur vibes.
We know
right?
sense.
Yeah.
We know sense. in our-
Thank you
in our
guys
culture.
so much. This
Thank
is
you
really
guys.
sweet and thoughtful of you
Of
guys. Like, I'm
of course.
so shocked.
No, I really,
Hug
we
coming
really appreciate
after the
that.
shoot.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
For sure.
No.
And the hoodie. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a crew neck.
Yeah.
Crew neck.
Listen,
Crew neck.
Um,
Not hoodies. Crew neck.
so we're gonna go ahead and close out the show.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
And Ochanda, thank you.
And catch us on their channel. We're also doing a collab with them as well.
Yes.
So
Oh,
make
yeah,
sure
that's
you watch
right.
part 2 of this on their channel. Awesome collab. Thank you guys
Yeah.
so much.
And-
South Sudan, oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, leave a comment on how you feel about the black tax, like wherever you're from. We all have experienced this as black people in the diaspora. So let us know how you feel your experience, and follow us on all social platforms, and follow Kush Convos on their social platforms. We're also going to
It will be linked below.
yeah, we're going to link all of their information below. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and Sosa
Ladies
times
and
Kush
Sosa.
Convos.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to Todd. We love you.
Bye.
Hold on. I want to give a big shout out to our
Special.
marketing strategist,
Yeah.
Nyatan. Boy.
Yes.
So hold on.
Thank you so much.
Honestly,
no,
we
no,
wouldn't
no,
be
no,
here
no,
without
no, no,
her,
no,
and
no,
I'm gonna
no.
just leave it at
Well,
that.
I know we're pressed for time for just 30 seconds. Like, she kind of gave us the groundwork of like the direction that we should go, and she made it like so manageable to where we were like, we can do this, Christine.
Yeah.
She made it manageable.
Another South Sudanese woman.
Yes.
So I think that's huge.
She flew from DC to
Right now,
Dallas.
she's in here.
Yeah, in the studio with
Sending
us.
us notes.
Sending us notes. Christine had all like, it's coming in right now.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Because of Netta. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Netta. We want to give you a big shout out.
Thank
and
you
yes,
so
we want to close out the
much.
show with that special shout out. So thank you
Honoring
guys.
her.
Follow,
Thank you.
subscribe. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.